The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Mr. Attorney General, do you support the consent decree that I believe was put in place in the city of Minneapolis?
I'm sorry, do I support the?
Do you support the consent decree that was put in place with the police department of Minneapolis?
The one was put in place by the federal government?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Do you support fewer cops on the street?
Do I support?
Fewer cops on the street?
No, I don't support fewer cops on the streets.
That's what's happening as a result of what's
I don't think that's a consequence of the consent decree.
Do you support?
Minneapolis has been losing police officers for many years.
Yeah, do you support more crime?
Do I support more crime?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So there was just a hearing in Minnetonka, Minnesota, a Tony suburb of Minneapolis, just I think this last week, where they're beside themselves with the amount of crime that continues in Minneapolis since the riots of 2020. And I would point out to you that I had an officer in my district. I lived right across the border in Wisconsin, or that's where my district begins. A police officer was shot to death as a result of a weak-on-crime prosecutor in St. Paul and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Guy served only 4 years for a violent crime. Do you think that that's a problem?
If an officer was shot to death, that is certainly not an appropriate sentence. That's outrageous. Let me be clear, we are doing everything we can to assist Minneapolis. We have a very aggressive U.S. attorney who's brought a number of RICO and Vicar cases.
Let me continue.
Extraordinarily successful.
I got a real short period of time here.
Sorry.
In regards to disrupting drug networks, why do you think there's so much fentanyl coming into the country?
Because it costs 10 cents to make, and it can be sold for $30.
So Sheriff Mark Daniels from Cochise County, Arizona, sat right where you were at a few months ago, and under oath he said, the reason there is such a drastic increase in fentanyl coming into the country is because on January 20th of 2021, open borders policies were announced by President Biden. Have you expressed concern about those open borders policies that have led to this rapid increase in the amount of fentanyl coming into our country?
I can't associate myself with the conclusion reached by the sheriff, although I can certainly commiserate with the concerns.
So the sheriff is incorrect.
Look, the cartels in Mexico are bringing this, are causing this drug to be transmitted into the United States, and we were doing everything we can to eliminate that incentive.
Yeah, you're not going to do it doing that. Mr. Chairman, just so we're real clear here, this is the same answer we received from Secretary Mayorkas a couple months ago when he was in denial about a sheriff who lives, one of the most reputable sheriffs you'll find in the United States of America, sitting down there on that southern border. He sees it every day. He saw it working in 2020 because he told me when I was down there. And now he says it is not working, and it started January 20th of 2021. You can pretend that you're dealing with fentanyl. You're not, because the borders are wide open.